Well, first things first, I didn't read anything. It's just because Micah and you have actually had this conversation. You guys don't. It was a long time ago. I don't know if you remember it. I just kind of remembered it. I was like, we each have our own good arguments. I want to go to what is the hardest position in volleyball, and then I want to go. Do you think that, or we'll go into what's the most important and what's the hardest position in volleyball? Any takers?
I think Mike and I are pretty biased, and Mike and I will agree on this because the setting position is the only position where you're judged on perfection. I might be wrong about that.
Is being a setter for sure.
Why? Because perfection wise?
Yeah, it's not close for me. I think setting's the hardest position for sure.
I always thought this is not like physical, but like I don't know, like I used to think middle, especially in the international game, because there's so much just like going on when you have to like deal with like a tricky setter and really good hitters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're only in 3 plays or three rotations.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, are they? But liberos are also based on perfection, but they have 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're not based on perfection. No.
I don't know. Like if you shank a ball or 2, you're considered having like a bad game for the most part.
No, not if you play well the rest of the game. You play good defense.
Yeah, well, same thing. Like if you make 2 bad sets and then you do really well the rest of the game.
Okay, so if you were to pass the ball not perfectly, would the setter then turn to you and say, "Hey, can you put that pass a little bit more on the net and 3 feet lower and kind of give it a nice apex for me?"
I would definitely get better pass on the net.
Definitely
not that specific, but yeah.
The other thing is, there's sometimes if there's a tough server on the line, literally like your job, coaches will train you just to play the ball up in the air.
Same thing with the offset out of system set. Same thing. You put it high around an area.
The higher level you go,
not true.
The higher level you go, that's not true at all.
So you're telling me if you're like you said, same thing. We have no. If I'm a libero, right, I'm just chucking the ball straight in the air. Same thing. Let's say if the ball's at the back line. They're telling you to put it in this.
On the net.
There's no way. They're definitely putting it high around this area right here.
No matter what you get, you need to set it well.
Right, set it well. And inside set, high ball, inside set's a good set.
You don't have to pass it well. You need to put it up.
Gage, I think, to be honest, this is one thing that's even like at the professional level, it's even a step further because it's literally a game of like you set a ball a half a foot to a foot off the net against a really good blocking team. Like you F over your hitter, and it's really hard to score in certain. Where in college, like you can still get away with setting the ball a couple more feet off the net. In like over here professionally, that's one thing that I think is different. Is that or not different, but I would say not. I don't even know if challenging is the right word, but you have to be so accurate, even out of system setting, because that half a foot to foot off the net can totally screw over because it takes away even more angles for the hitter to be able to attack, and it's tough to score because teams are so good at defending poor sets. I think at this level.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and just to go just for the perfection thing, so setters, even from a young age, like is the only position that gets constant feedback from the other players about how the ball should be played. So if an attacker spikes out, not everybody's going to that attacker and saying, okay, spike that ball 6 inches left and 12 feet and like a foot more inside. Like, no, he made a mistake. He spiked out.
Who's measuring in inches?
Dude, when you're a setter, that's what you get. Oh, can I get
someone
this
says you
higher?
6 inches lower?
No, but let's be realistic. You get where it's one ball. And
right, they're like higher, lower, a little more outside, nothing like 3 centimeters this way.
When I'm telling you right now, when you're in the USA gym, it comes down to literal inches. Like, oh, can I get this a half a ball higher? It's like, okay, how big's a ball? It's not a foot, and so that means that half of it is 6 inches.
That's a good question.
Do you know what I'm saying, though, Gage? how big?
Right, but what? Okay.
And so when somebody says, "Oh, can I get that? Can I get that half a ball higher? Can I get it a little bit faster?" And
they
a
don't
little bit
actually
higher?"
mean half a ball exactly, though.
They literally mean that, and I'm being dead serious.
You want to know a funny thing, Micah? I don't know if I ever told you this, but you would always ask us about our offense at Hawaii. You'd always ask me about this. And Milan worked with the hitters and the setters, I would think, the most out of any of the coaches. And the one thing he always talked about with the speed to the ball into area 4 with our outsides is he didn't care about, like, he's the one coach, like, I've worked with where it didn't have to be, like, exactly in this spot. He just wanted speed. He cared about the speed and the height of the ball. And he would always just have the hitters, like, you need to be fast and attack into the hands fast to go block out. Like, teaches that so, like, and he didn't really care as much about, like, if the ball's here or a half foot here. That he put it on the hitters. Like, if you set it fast and in this position, they need to score this ball. And that's actually, for me, when I would watch film, it's like, yeah, if it's like a half foot or a half foot there, like, there's still so much room for hitters to score on. And as a setter, to be honest, that's where, like, hitters gain trust, is when you set it, and even if you mistake a little bit, they still, like, bail you out. The hitters that go and make errors on sets that are a little off, drives me nuts. I don't know about you, Micah, but it's like they make an error and they come back at you. It's like, dude, you got to do something better with the ball than that.
So, Gage, I'm curious.
Wait, let me say something.
I want to hear what Gage thinks. So,
Thank
Gage,
you.
what? Yeah.
So
explain
I'm gonna
to us
go
how
to the.
you think it's not the set.
I'm gonna go think about the outsides and the right sides here, right?
Okay.
Pin position, pin hitting, right? You have what happens? Like you said, the older you get, the higher the level, the better they get, right? So what happens when you're like Leon or any right side, or I know he's an outside, but any great right side that has to be the garbage man to bail everyone out on not a good set. What if you have you're saying, okay, I need to hear here. I don't think Leon's saying, hey, give me a half ball higher. He's just saying, put it in this area and I'll take care of it.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
so, and to be at that level, that is extremely hard. If you're a right side, you're the garbage man. They're chucking that ball up. And if you don't score, you're not getting your money. You're not getting paid.
Yeah, but Gage,
you're not getting your spot.
Gage, the saying in baseball is you go 1 for 3 and you're in the Hall of Fame. It's the same thing for hitters. You could literally, if you're not erring, if you hit 1 out of 3 kills, then that's a really good game. You have a really good percentage, and like, you're one of the top scorers in the league. But obviously, even if you go 50%, if you score 50% of your balls, that's still pretty damn good percentage for opposite hitters. And for setters,
Gage, and that makes sense. That position is an extremely hard position. The garbage man is an extremely hard position, but that doesn't happen like every single play. And there's other players that can take the load off. Out of system, you can handle the